Hey trappers, Dale Billingsley here, Billingsley Brand Lures. So, boys, we are less than 100 days away from trapping season here in Iowa, and I'm starting to get a little pumped up. Now, here in Iowa, I can't make money on anything other than raccoons. That's my bread and butter right there. Even when coyotes were 30, 40 bucks a piece, I could still make more money selling $5 raccoon than I could selling $30, $40 coyotes, just because of the fact of the sheer numbers, okay? I can go out and catch 50 coon a day at $5 a piece and make $250, or I could go catch 3 coyotes a day at $30 a piece and make $90. Well, when I was in school, they taught me that 250 was better than 90, especially when you're talking in dollars and cents. So raccoons are my bread and butter. So I thought what I would do today is take you with me on a little stretch of my line and just kind of, now the coon trails aren't starting to pop yet. It's going to be another month anyway, at least. Sometime around that mid-September, end of September, before those coon trails really start to show up. But I can still take you with me and to give you an idea. I mean, I've trapped this country for a long time now. So I know where the coon trails are and I know where they're going to be. So go with me on my line here for a little stretch, and I'll show you just kind of how I set it up, what I look for, and we'll get going here. I want to give you a little deal here. If you would please just, I mean, you're right there. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for me. I'd sure appreciate it. Maybe go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. We'll go ahead and head on down the road here, guys. All right, guys. Now, we were just right there at that gateway doing the intro. Now, here's a little old creek here that I like to set, and there's just a puddle down there right now. We're in bad need of rain, and boy, I hope we get it soon. Now, that creek right there, that little ditch, you can't get a stake in it. You absolutely can't get one of my fish stakes in that. And for those of you that don't know what the fish stake set is, go back and look at my deadliest raccoon set and you'll see what it is. That video will show you what the fish stake is. But anyway, what I do here is I'll go down there and I'll dig in 4 pocket sets on that side. And I just shove my disposable straight back into the bank. Because the reason you can't get a stake in there is because underneath that sand and underneath that mud, it's solid bedrock. And you can only go down about maybe 6-7 inches and you hit solid bedrock. So I just shove my disposable straight back and put in about 4 pockets down there. Then I come up here and I find those high dry trails that are usually running on each side of this culvert. And I'll put in a pair of 220s here. Then we go across the road to the other side. Now this drops off deep and steep over here. This is a son of a gun to set. So again, this mud hole, we set 2 to 4 pockets there as well. Now, in the fall, a lot of times if we don't get rain, there won't be any bank there to dig a pocket in, so I have to go up and cut a chunk of sod and drag down there to have something to dig the pocket back into. You can go and look at my mink trapping video, and I'll show you in there how I do that. But, and then again, I find the high dry trails coming up over across the road, and I'll drop in a pair of 220s here. So there's 4, 8, there'll be 16 sets at this stop. And we're gonna write that down. And I've set the trip meter on my truck to 0 so we can tell how many miles I go and how many traps I set in those sections. So there's 16 sets right here at this one stop. We'll write that down in the book. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. I carry a notebook with me and an ink pen up here in the sun visor of the truck, and I write everything down.
That way I don't forget anything, and it just gives me a good log to go by, and that way I'm not missing any sets. When it comes time to pull or when I'm checking, I don't miss anything, so I don't get pinched by the law for not running traps. Because here in Iowa, if we don't have a drowning set, we have to check every 24 hours, basically. So anyway, I just write everything down. It doesn't take just a minute. I just write it down so that I know what I'm looking at. And also, I mean, you never know when something's going to happen. You might have an accident. You might fall down, break a leg, you know, something of that sort. If you've got them roped down, somebody else can go and run those traps or pull those traps or at least throw them so that you're not out there catching anything while you're laid up. You never know. It's not no petting zoo out here. This is a wild, dangerous place. And what we do is a dangerous occupation. So those are just some things that you might want to keep in mind. So, okay, here at the first stop, we've got 16 sets. So we'll go on up the road here a little ways, and we'll look at some more stuff. Stay with me. All right, guys, now here we are now. This doesn't look like much of a coon, or much of a for raccoon habitat, but there is a trail, and you can just barely make it out coming right through there. And then it turns and it goes up by that brace post right there between the telephone pole and that brace post. Now what I'll do is I'll drop 2 probably footholds in there. I'll put one right up there by the fence, right where they're coming through, and then the next one will be off over here somewhere. There's just 2 sets that go here, and the reason being is because they come through this gateway, and then as you come on across the road, they go through this open gateway over here. Now, that may or may not end up being a location for me this year because of the simple fact this is beans. Now, if they leave the beans in, if the beans stay in during the season while the season's open, those raccoon will still work that field. Once the beans are gone, they'll quit using it. Unless they go in there and they turn that ground over, which it isn't very often they turn bean ground over in the fall. But once in a while they do. If they do, then those coon will continue to use that bean field because they're out there hunting night crawlers and earthworms. So that's just a little something there, a little tidbit for you. I see we've got some fresh coon tracks right here in the dust where they're going through. There's even a coyote track right there where the coyotes are going through. That's why I'll drop footholds in there versus a conibear or snare. So anyway, let's just write that down as 2 footholds there. All right, guys, here's another one. We were just right down there at that telephone pole. That's where we were just a minute ago when I recorded that down there with the bean field. So we've come up the road 60 yards. At this corner post right here, there's another trail that comes across. Now here I'll hang 2 snares. 2 on this side of the road. And the reason I hang snares here is because I do catch red fox right here. So I'll hang 2 snares here. Then you come across to the other side of the road, and the trail goes right up to that little cedar tree right there. So I'll hang another pair of snares here. So there's 4 sets. And like I said, we didn't come up the road. We didn't come up 60 yards. Those telephone poles are 50 yards apart. And we're about, I don't know, maybe 10 yards past it, past this telephone pole to this corner post. So 60 yards, we've got another 4 sets. All right, guys, here we are. We are just roughly a half mile from where I did my intro up the road there. And we've got a really nice timber ditch that comes up here. Now this side, you can't set it down in the culvert because the fence comes right across the top of it. But the high trail that comes up here, you can put 2 220s here, okay? So you drop in a pair of 220s here, or 160s, 155s, maybe footholds, whatever's legal in your state, that's what you do. So, drop a pair in here. Then you come across the road, and you're not going to be able to see it because I'm not going to waller down through that ragweed right there. But there, where the culvert comes across the road to the cornfield, there'll be a trail there. So again, you drop in a pair of whatever's legal. So again, there's 4 more sets at this stop. Don't leave room for error. I know guys that only put in 2 sets and they only ever set one side of the road because they think that it's saving them time, when in actuality, it's hurting them. Because the simple fact is, they have to check those traps more often than what I do. They've got more trips involved. They've got more time invested. They've got more fuel invested. And in this day and age, with the fuel price the way it is, the way the fur market is, you have to capitalize on every stop. You can't afford to drop in this pair of traps bullshit that some professional came up with that said, yeah, just put in 2 sets and go. No, that's not how it's done. You've got to capitalize on it. You have to take that maximum amount of fur in the shortest amount of time that you possibly can. And that's just my opinion. To me, it makes economical sense to do that. So anyway, the coon trail, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I hope it shows up. It's really bright out here today. Is right there. You can see that it's going right through there. So again, you'll drop in a pair of sets here. You go across the road on the south side, you drop in another pair. That's 4 sets here. Let's go on. And like I said, we're only just right at a half mile from where we started. So we'll write those down. We'll go on up the road. All right, guys. Now we were just right down there at that swale. And we've come up here to the next swale. There's another culvert, another timber ditch going down through there. Come across the road. The ditch going right up through here to the cornfield. Now, generally speaking, there is a puddle of water here. It's not ever very much, but it's just enough that I can get 1 fish stake in and usually 1 foothold over on this side. Now, I have to put footholds here because I'm less than 200 yards from my house. So I have to set footholds here to be legal, either footholds or dog proofs, and I don't use many dog proofs. I like using footholds better just because I like catching everything that comes down that trail, not just the coons, skunks, and the possums, but I want to catch the fox. I want to catch the mink. I want to catch the coons. I want to catch everything down that trail. So I'll put a fish stake down there in that puddle, then I'll put in a foothold in the trail. Maybe 2 if there's room. So let's just give it the benefit of the doubt though and just say 2 sets on this side of the road. Then we come across to the other side of the road. Not a whole lot I can do over here because the fence and the way the culvert is. I just have to set the dry trail that comes across the top. Not a whole lot of room, so I generally just drop in 1 foothold. So there's 3 sets here at this stop. And like we didn't go another 60 yards, and we've got another 3 sets. All right, guys, here we are on top of the hill from that swale where we just stopped. We've got a farm pond here. This guy raises dogs, so he's got spilt dog feed on back there in the back. Plenty of food here for those coon. They come across to the cornfield, and they cross right there at that telephone pole, and then they cross again at that ditch right there at his mailbox. Now, I don't set that one right there at his mailbox just because it's his mailbox. But I do set this one down here at this telephone pole. And normally what I do is I'll drop in a pair of dog proofs there. And this is where I use my dog proofs when I'm right here beside somebody's house. I'll put a pair of dog proofs in. That trail comes right beside that asparagus patch there. And then it comes across and I'll drop in another pair of dog proofs right there. So again, there's 4 more sets. We're just right at about 100 yards from where we were. So there's another 4 sets. And we're maybe 3/4 of a mile from where we actually started. All right, gang, here we are out here at the main highway. Now, way off down there in the distance, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. I'll try to zoom in. There is a great big old cottonwood tree down there that's just as hollow can be. And it's a raccoon condominium. Right down there, I'll drop in just 2 220s on the west side of the road. And again, use whatever's legal in your state. Now the reason I only put in 2 there is because on the east side of the road, it's really hard to set. And I'm not gonna lie, this road is really dangerous to try to trap because there's no shoulder on it. So I'm usually only there a couple of times and I get the hell out. It's too dangerous. People fly up and down this highway like it's Indianapolis. So a couple of stops there and I've pretty well lost my nerve and had a gut full of it. Take the coon that are there and get on out. Later on, when it gets really cold, I'll come back in there then one afternoon and I'll call that den tree and shoot the coon that are in it. And just harvest them that way. So there'll be another 2 sets down there. All right, guys, here we are at the next location. We just crossed the highway and come down the road here. Here's the next location right here. This little old ditch right here. Now, generally speaking, in the fall of the year, there's water. I can drop about 3 fish stakes in right here. I can't set the other side of the road because of they fill it with riprap, and also because of the boundary line. I have to stay out of it. So I'll drop 3 fish stakes in right here and make that work. God damn, you no good son of a bitch. Timber, come here. All right, guys. Now, we were just right there on the other side of the cemetery at that ditch. So here we are again, next ditch. Again, this one will have a little puddle of water in the fall. I can get about 3 fish stakes in there. Then, coming off of this corner up here, there will be a coon trail coming off of the cornfield here and coming across. So I can drop in about 3 footholds right there. Again, I can't set the other side of this road because of the boundary line, the way the boundary comes across the right of way. Can't set it unless I can set the top side of the trail here, which generally speaking, normally I can't. Just because of the way the road ditch is and everything, you can't get a set in right. So we'll just drop in 6 sets here. 3 footholds or 3 footholds in that trail right there. Then 3 fish stakes in the ditch. There's another 6 sets. All right, guys, there'll be another crossing right here coming across from up this fence line at that cedar tree. I'll drop in a pair of footholds here, go across the road, drop in another pair on the other side where the trail goes across. So there's another 4 sets, and we didn't drive 75 yards. All right, guys, there's something here I want to go over with you just to keep you on the right track when you're out here looking for these coon trails. Now, what we have here, we have a waterway, a swale coming up through here. We've got cornfield on both sides of it, and we've got a few trees here where the culvert comes under the road. We've got a handful of trees here where the culvert comes under the road, and then another cornfield on the other side. Now, you're going to want to set these places, but I'm going to caution you against it because of the fact that there will be a coon trail here. I can almost guarantee you and bet the farm that there'll be a coon trail here, but it's a summertime trail. There's nothing here to hold these coon. Those coon are going to be back in that far back timber, and they're going to come out to the cornfield and turn around and go back. There's nothing up here for them. There's no den. There's no water. Might be later in the fall, there might be a puddle of water. But logically speaking, they're going to go to the water that's down there in that swale where we just were a bit ago, come out of the timber, go to the cornfield, and then turn around and go back. So don't waste your time at places like this. It's just like going on up this road where there's corn on both sides of the road. I can guarantee you there's going to be trails crossing that road. But there's summertime deals. There's nowhere for a coon to den out here. This is nothing more, same way going up this road. This is nothing more than a cornfield desert. There's nothing out here. This is jaybird country. All that's out here is jaybirds, and that's it. the occasional white-tailed deer that crosses the road. So don't waste your time in places like this. You're better off to concentrate where you know the raccoon are going to be and take the numbers. All right, guys, here we are at the bridge. Now this is where it starts to get good. We haven't even got into the good stuff yet. So we've got a bridge here. We've got cornfield here on both sides of the creek. We've got this creek that runs down through here that's, you can dang sure see there's something in it. That water is muddy and dirty. So what there'll be 8 fish stakes here and down here in the creek. Then I'll put 4 220s on the north side of the bridge in the trail. I'll put 4 220s on the south side here in the trail. We've got a nice big timber back here. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Dale, you just set up the road where they're going to come out of the timber and go to the corn and then turn around and go back. And you're right to an extent, okay? I did say that. But on these bigger creeks like this, they're going to hunt up and down. And plus, we've got timber all along here, so they're going to be moving up and down through here. So you've got 8, 4, and 4. There's another 16 sets at this stop. Take those coon in a hurry. All right, guys, here we are maybe 50 yards from the bridge. We've got a culvert that comes across here. Comes from this timber, going across to the cornfield on the other side of the road. Drop in a pair of sets on this side of the road. Drop in at least 2, if not 3, on this side of the road. We're going to give it the benefit of the doubt and call it 3, so we'll have 5 sets here at this stop. All right, guys, here we are out here at the main highway, Highway 16. Down there at that bridge, we drop in 4 sets on the south side of the road. We drop in another 4 on the north. There's another 8 sets there. We would come up here to this culvert, this swale down there in that little bottom you see. There's enough room there. You can only get 2 sets in there. So we've got 8, 9, 10 right there. All right, guys, we're going to kind of end this video right there. We could keep going and going forever if we wanted to. But here's the deal. Here's what I want to get across to you. We've drove 5.3 miles, and we have 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. We've got 79 sets in 5.3 miles. That's how you take numbers of raccoons. That's how you bulk up on them in a hurry. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time to watch this video. I sure appreciate it. Once again, this is Dale Billingsley with another one, signing out.